fuckers floating around this country. Dumb-ass motherfuckers, you know? The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. By the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long, where they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on. The fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Dude, time to start.
Radio.
Welcome aboard to Host Chat Live. Buckle up and let's get ready for a ride. First stop, Host Chat with EJ and DJ.
Stand clear of the closed doors, please.
Hey everyone, welcome to Host Chat Live with EJ and DJ again. Welcome everybody. I guess this is what is this? August. It's the midst of the summer. This is our season finale. I had to explain to EJP, who is getting set up, why this week had to be the finale and not next week. So I haven't said anything to him. I've let him rant and rant around the house all day, yesterday, today, literally rant. And if you saw the video from the from Facebook, we were on Facebook Live and on Twitter. Towards the end, you could see he had an attitude about this. He was like, why are we stopping now? I want to be, there for Joe Biden's pick, right? So, of course, I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let it be and wait till we get on air, and I'll explain it to him. That it's sort of something that I have to say is maybe a little superficial, or I don't know, maybe superficial, but just something small. It's a small detail that bothered me, and I didn't want to be bothered with our last episode being number 45, which would be the current president's number, 45. A lot of people call him 45. They just call him a number, like we call, like we do to inmates, we call them numbers. So here we are, this is episode 44, which was the 44th president, right? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we'll end on a note that is more closely, I don't know, a luckier number, a better number, which would be 44. I hate to say it. So I don't know if he's there. I don't know if he's set up yet. I don't know what's going on over there in the other part of the studio or whatever, because he closes the door on me and I don't know what he's doing. I don't know who he's talking to. I don't know what he's doing in his private time.
Huge Manhattan loft. Yes, I'm hiding from you.
Hiding with me in another room as I explained to you why I did not want our last episode to be the number of our current president. How about that? Did I make a good case?
My morning. What time are we at?
It doesn't matter. I just took my first hit of the day, so I am feeling good on this. What is
Of
OG?
marijuana, by the way, marijuana.
OG,
It's
OG.
not, yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, well,
Only
you
green.
know,
Only green in this house. Like I tell all my parents, everyone that asks, I don't fuck with anything
all
that's
your
not
parents. Wait,
green.
how many
My
parents you
money's
got now?
green. My just two. I just parent. I'm sorry. More than one is plural. Last time I checked, so I add the s. Parents. Um, what were we talking about again?
Well, I no, I did make it a
Oh,
purpose to
right.
say
So you're
that
45 is
45. I
first
didn't want the
forever.
end to be the 45th number. I hate that number. I mean, Chris Avalon can have that number. I mean, he can
Oh my
have
God. Oh
his
my
last
God.
episode is
Maybe Chris
45.
don't want to do it. Chris, 44.5 episode, 44.5. Thank you very much. Okay.
See, now that I set the number, now he's okay with this. See,
44.5 part 2. Hey, Chris, figure it out, girl. You got another hour and 2 hours and 53 minutes. Hello. 12:07. It happens to be right now, 12:07.
oh my
Saturday,
God, that's your date.
August,
Yes, that's your
August
date. His B-Day.
8th. And yeah, well, hello. Yes, that is my birthday. That day holds very close to 12/7, December 7th. And also on today's episode, our final episode 44, Dissident. I'll explain what that means. The whole show, obviously, this whole show, Host Chat Live, is its own form of dissident. I mean, because we give it to you guys. We get to bring the news unfiltered here. So, and
I like the
I
fact
mean,
that
that is the only way to show dissension. Sorry.
you have all the, like, we're talking about so many numbers, and I find it interesting that 12 is one of the numbers that we have for our lotto tonight. So 12 is one of those numbers, but there's no other number. I just thought about it. And 12 and 7.
Are
By the
you
way,
predicting something? Are you trying to say we're gonna like leave the what is going on? Did we win the lotto? Are you trying to?
I don't know. Listen, the mega, it says it is $22 million is the pot, right? I think that's the pot.
You know what?
Okay.
We
All
get
right,
22 million. I would give 10 million of that to non-for-profits to help out with the people who cannot afford. Okay.
10 million.
Yes.
That's a lot. That's a lot of. First of all, you're paying that much in taxes, so then you're gonna have 5 million or 2 million.
I will tell the government in a open letter from my lawyers, because I would have lawyers at the time. I would have Jacob Schuler and everyone.
It's gotta be Schuler now.
Everyone, Schuler, yes, everyone. All, and I want the one that's representing the Rashad Brooks case. What's his name? My mom said he looks just like you. You know what? During this show, I'm gonna do the side by side. And tell her I'm gonna do a side by side, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the lawyer for Rashad Brooks. I gotta get his name and all that, guys.
And he looks like me.
Yes, and the picture that I got is just, we've been talking about this for weeks, and I never put the picture together. My mom, she was like, I swear, every time I see him on TV, I call. She's like, I meant to call you, and we finally spoke. She said he looks just like DJ, and I said,
I don't understand. Wait. So you and your mother are having secret conversations about me, and I didn't know about it. I didn't know about this.
Stop acting like you and your mother don't sit there and you try to give it.
Oh, what happened? Your audio went out. Anyway, get your audio together over there. Your audio went out. Are you back? Are you back? Oh, there we go.
Oh, sorry, I'm here. Hello. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
all right. There we go. There we go.
You and your mom. I'm sure you guys talk about me.
Sort of. Usually, we're so preoccupied with talking about her that usually we don't get to talk about anybody else. But we have enough drama in our family. Your family's a little more normal than mine. Just a little more normal.
That's what you call.
Mine's just a little more. Mine's just a little more dramatic. But hopefully we win this lotto tonight. It definitely has the number 12 and 7 in it, and I think that's amazing.
You're right. Okay, fine. 5 million. But I will write a letter with my lawyers telling the government to put that money, allocate portion of that, specifically to the New York State government. I can't deal with everything else, but New York City. But money should go to the not-for-profits to help people, because people are not getting stimulus money. I think anyone who's winning the lotto right now.
You know who I would help? I would help a lot of the small businesses that were started before the pandemic that are run by gay black men.
Okay.
I mean, we have the Lambda Lounge that's having trouble. You know, they've been having some trouble over there, and I'm a little
and
upset
other
everything.
place that I can't talk about.
Yeah, how is that one still open? And then you've got
well,
such
apparently
a
they got robbed. So I don't know. It went from burning the flag to coming for the coins, whatever's left of it. So listen, I can't say nothing about it.
which
a pending
means
litigation.
more that we need the Lambda Lounge to succeed. So if you guys want to donate to the Lambda Lounge, just look at them on Twitter.
Yes,
look them up on Twitter.
Lambda Lounge. Lambda Vodka is the drink. That's the two people behind the gay couple behind it.
They got the vodka and they have
with the vodka.
lounge.
Yes, they started with Lambda Vodka and now they're trying to do Lambda Lounge. They launched it earlier this year and because of COVID, clearly they're in a situation. I know another friend who's just opening a restaurant a couple weeks ago, got the license and everything. I'm really worried.
That's right. Your good friend started a restaurant. And,
yeah, it's tough for everyone. People who had just started and you're depending on this summer run to get all the crowds, and a lot of people, specifically business owners, I think a lot of people just thought that this would be handled, and then everyone else on the ground kind of was just like, well, not realizing that this president and the Republican Party has, and his administration, this president, his administration, the entire Republican Party, top down, except for the ones that, well, actually, no, fuck that, them too, because we watched this documentary, The Swamp, whatever, and you got these so-called libertarian, the real libtards, the libertarians over there, acting like, well, I'm conservative, but I don't vote for everything Republican. Okay, really? So where are you now? Come again? I'm sorry. What? Como? Yeah. So so the entire party allowed the deconstruction of our institutions in this country, including from elections. We spoke yesterday. We literally opened our live broadcast yesterday with the breaking news that you had about the postmaster, the newly elected, guy that this president just threw in there, 45, just threw in there, and now this guy is cleaning house. Again, deconstructing government. The post office is a place that's an independent body that is obviously not for profit, but it gets federal help, and this guy is allowing someone in there to cut people in there who obviously will oversight things, because the president is trying to not only kill people with his misinformation and disinformation campaigns via social media and his state-run media, Fox News. So we have a state-run media, and they are all trying to collectively, or should I say colluding together to ruin this election and to kill bodies, to kill people.
So how did we get from your mother saying I look like a lawyer to Trump being the 45 being the
It went for me saying I want to help people, and then the people that are dying from coronavirus, I connected it all together. How it all doesn't happen in the vacuum. It all is connected. That is my point of bringing it all together. And yes, you still look like the lawyer.
Oh, well, great. Well, at least that's happening.
Listen, our loyal host chatters, yes, that is our name. Our loyal host chatters, they know how I roll on this show. So if you don't, welcome to episode 44, our finale. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I saw that the bigots were upset yesterday when Cardi B released her new music video with Megan Thee Stallion. And there was two things that happened that went viral with this video. One was they picked Kylie Jenner to be the featured artist, and
wait, hold on, Kylie Jenner, the featured artist. Okay,
I don't know what she is. I don't know why she was there. Why else was she there? I don't know.
I need to retract that. She's just like her sister and the rest of their family. Thank you.
She came in for her.
They are there to just show up, look cute, and get the girls on social media talking. That is their job. They are social media influencers. They get paid to just do nothing.
That's why Betty White was trending yesterday. I saw that even Joy Reid was a little upset that we keep trending Betty White. Stop trending her, because it gets everyone nervous. Betty White, they said RBG, specifically RBG, because that invokes a lot of emotion. Yeah, that's a little emotional right there, because then we know that they're going to pack the court with another conservative or another loon. I don't know, another rapist. Who knows? I don't know what else they got lined up.
Hold that thought, Geppetto. But go ahead.
Okay, well, anyway, I hope nothing happens. We love RBG here. She's a champion. But they didn't want them to be trending. And then the other thing that was trending from the video was this Italian woman. I can't think of her name. It doesn't matter. But she said that WAP is a slang. Hold on, let me look this up quick, because she made a fool of herself, because it's not WAP, it's WAP. WAP is the slander, and WAP is what the name of the track is. So they were going through that whole thing. Let me see if I can look that up.
Wait, what are we talking about? Oh, WAP is the name of the track, and she called it something else, you saying?
Yes. WAP is the name of the track, the WAP music video. Okay, which I don't know what that stands for. I'm not, someone who, follows what's going on with the WAP, but I just saw that this Italian woman said that it was racist against Italians, that, saying WAP is an Italian slur, and actually it's not. It's WAP. Instead of an A, it's an O. And so she was getting dragged online the entire yesterday. It was getting dragged. That's the two reasons why the music video went trending. I haven't seen the music video other than the clip of, Rise and Shine going through, but other than that.
Rise and shine.
Oh, he disappeared again. Oh, well. All right. Well, anyway, it was something that I noticed. Okay. And it's not WAP. I'm sorry. It's WAP, not WAP. And WAP is a slander. So stop saying it, DJ. That should stop doing that. I do not want to offend any of my Italian friends, but I do want to make it clear that Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion weren't trying to send out any racist type of, racist type of, connotation or slang to anyone out there. So I'm glad that they cleared that up. Are you coming back? Are you here? I don't know. We gotta find out where he's at.
I'm here. I'm alive. You brought up something interesting about the Supreme Court vacancy, and shout out to thehill.com for this story. Senate GOP divided on whether they fill Supreme Court vacancy. And it goes on to say Senate Republicans are conflicted on what about to do. Supreme Court vacancy becomes during the remainder of President Trump's first term, a possibility to come more to focus in the weeks in the light of Justice RBG health problems. Senator Majority Leader Adelson Mitch Turkey Neck White Devil hashtag Mitch McConnell of Kentucky has made clear that he intends to fill the Supreme Court vacancy in 2020, despite holding the seat vacated by the death of late conservative Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, who is a very far right conservative, opened during the 2016 presidential election. And so it goes on and on and on, basically saying they're not committed to the idea about Turkey Neck McConnell. Including Chuck Grassley and Merrick Garland. Chuck Grassley.
Thank you. Wet ass pussy. Sorry, I had to get that out. WAP is wet ass pussy. Okay, good.
What are we doing here? Hold on. What?
No, that's the name of the Cardi B song. Is wet. That's what Chris Avalon, in the group chat said. Yeah, it's it means wet ass pussy. I didn't know what it meant, but I know it's not WAP. WAP is the slang. So there you go.
Right. So anyway,
so we're not going to say that anymore. We're not going to say the other word anymore. We're just going to say WAP.
Anyway, Republicans are not committed to the idea, so that just might not happen. I just want to throw that out there, give a little beacon of light to people who think that, this whole Supreme Court thing. However, things can change. Whenever these stories come out, it is just a glimpse on what's going on behind the closed doors in the Capitol. And most of the time they're getting leaked from sources, their aides and whatnot. This is how the free press and the media continues to do what they do. So we might hear another thing leading to election that it might be okay to open and knock on wood, RBG is hanging in there. We only got 87 days left to November 3rd to our election of 2020. So so much more information on that later on in the show. But yeah, so
Well,
there you have
They just said on AM Joy there that it actually starts today because a lot of people are doing the mail-in voting.
it. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
do you have information on that? You have the info on the fact that people should be looking up their, to get their applications in.
Oh my gosh.
Because unfortunately, the president doesn't know what he's talking about. It's not like they just send you a ballot. They don't just send you a ballot. You have to put in an application for a ballot. So this whole idea that people are just going to be receiving ballots in the mail like their flyers or or what do they call those promotional mailers? It's not going to show up like like Verizon keeps sending me the same $39.99 deal when I don't want it. Or Spectrum.
There you go, Spectrum.
Yeah, Spectrum. Sorry, Spectrum.
We are
And
trying to get Verizon. Hello. Fios
Yeah.
or Google Fi.
Well, Time Warner or Spectrum or whatever the hell it's called sends me, and I've actually spoken to them on the phone. I said, I don't want any more mailers. I don't want you to save the paper.
You did.
And they still send it to
me. I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. We here at Spectrum do apologize for the inconvenience. We understand that we are driving you crazy with our mailers. We will stop that immediately. And what happens? It may stop for like. Right. It may stop for like 30, 36 days, give it a month or like a couple of weeks, and then boom, right there in the mail. And then they never give you what we want. We asked, we said, can we just get internet and the online TV? No, we don't have that, so we don't want it. Goodbye. Thank you.
And they keep it's the wording. They have the wording that says
right.
$44 a month.
99. At the bottom, month each. You just see the $44.99. You're like, oh yes, and then like
you can both TV and internet. Yeah, and they said TV and internet for $44, and then it says each. The small letter,
small print, and then and I believe back in the day the what was the FTC? I believe it is the Federal Trade people who look at those things like that. Like they, I'm sure they had them to like make the print a bit larger because back in the days it was really, really small.
No, but before they didn't have it at all. You wouldn't know. You would have to call up, and then they would say, or sometimes they probably wouldn't even say when you called up. You just saw your bill, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Or if you ever watch the commercials, like even for certain drugs and stuff, they'll have like a great commercial. Someone, and now I am moving thanks to Agila, and then like get Agila now if you want to help get better joints. And then right at the end, you have some fast talker only $44.99 if you get $44.99, and then they say,
and it causes diarrhea, bloatingness, and
the following causes of diarrhea. Please call your doctor. All that you hear, all that, and you're like, wait a minute, you just said that helps that she can move her body, but then the last thing you heard was all of the disclaimers, right? Everything, but that's how they do it on TV, and then in the mail, obviously, like you said, it's the small fine print, and clearly it's never changed. It never changed, and it's not really false advertising; it's a marketing ploy. Because they're not lying to you. It's just they don't want you to see it. The first thing they want you to see, because our eyes, it's a scientifical like mind fuck basically. Because the first thing we always see is the biggest font, which they make the $44.99, and then we know it says TV and internet. So we're like, oh my god, is this what we want? Can we leave such and such? And then it's like,
it makes sense that George Carlin said all of that in 1986. He said that, basically they don't want us to know anything. They want you to be stupid. They want you to be willfully ignorant, and that makes it happy for them because then they can do whatever the hell they want. They don't want a group of people, a citizen or a country that actually has critical thinking. So you could tell when they're fucking you. Like, I don't understand how people don't understand that the Republicans are fucking them. Like, I know they're fucking me. I know the Democratic Party where they're fucking me. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, this is why even Democrats need to be removed. Like what we're doing in New York. We got 19, progressive candidates going in to knock out these incumbents that are sitting around not doing anything but keeping the status quo. And so I'm really excited that we can get some progressive candidates, specifically in New York. I know there was one black woman who was a part of the I forgot her name. I think it's Bush. Last name is Bush.
Yes, her
Yeah,
name.
she knocked out the incumbent who was
Call
sitting on
Bush.
his ass as a Democrat, not doing anything. And so we know for us to make changes in this country that we're going to need progressives to do it. Else, just like George Carlin said in 1986, and here we are in 2020 going to the same shit, which is insane. 24 years. No, more than 24 years. That's, oh gosh, that's 44 years. My gosh. Wow, look at that. Did you know that's 44 years? No. 34 years. 34. All right, whatever. 34 years, 2020. Am I right? I'm not doing the math right. I feel like I'm doing the math.
You're right. You're 34 years.
34 years. Okay. Because you were born in 86. 85.
Good Lord, get it together.
Wow.
Yes.
So
85.
like this, George Carlin said this, that you were 1 year old.
Yes, let everyone know. I was sucking my mom's nipple or whatever she put.
I don't know what you were doing, but you remember you were sucking your mom's nipple. Okay.
I don't think I was. I think if I remember, I was a bottle baby. Like, she always gave me the bottle, like always.
Yeah.
I don't think my mom.
Because you would shut up. Probably that's why.
Yeah.
Give him the bottle.
I don't think my mom. No, my mom. I don't think she breastfed. I don't know. I don't think so.
Do you remember seeing breasts when you were a kid? Do you remember it?
For my mom,
I actually remember my mother's breasts. I remember what they look like. I don't think about it much, but I do remember. If I have to think about it.
Well, I hope you don't think about it at all. Not even much. I don't think about it at all.
I don't know if it was from that memory or the memory when my mother tried to teach me how to take off a bra.
Another hit of the bong here because you're driving.
Did I tell you that?
Are through the roof. My anxiety. What?
Did I ever tell you that though? My mother taught me how to take off a woman's bra.
Yes, you told me this story, and she said, "Here, son, this is what you do. You unlatch here, and go ahead."
And she taught me the technique of how you pinch it with one hand. Like you got to pinch it with one hand, and then it unhooks 2 out of the 3.
Did it work?
It works.
Yeah. Oh, so you did it to a girl, a woman, and she was like,
it totally worked. She thought I was a smooth operator.
Oh, she was like, okay.
She thought I wasn't a virgin, but I was. I was a complete virgin. I had no idea what I was doing. But I remembered that. My mother taught me.
Virgin, but you knew how to unsnap the bra.
I knew how to unsnap a bra. That's my talent, and I'm sticking to it, okay? You want to start off with
Miss Baker? We're just gonna call her that for now. We don't want her people to know her government. I'm sure she wouldn't either. After that story, I think can we play George Carlin and come back to news? I am sweating.
Oh, okay. So you want to play George Carlin again? Oh.
Yes, just in case people came late. Listen to what he got to say when we come back. We have
a whole lot of clips, but okay, yeah, let's go. Let's do it again.
Straight to Kanye when we come back.
Say what you want about America, land of the free, home of the brave. We got some dumbass motherfuckers floating around this country. Dumbass motherfuckers. You know? The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. By the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on. The fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Rise and shine.
Yeah, wake up, America. That's what that was a progressive commercial, by the way. Just basically waking a lot of
Very progressive.
the youth up, just realizing that, regardless Democrat or Republican, both of them have, the special interests involved, and they are doing things to control what we think and say instead of thinking for ourselves. So I think, I think that's when we really do start waking up. And I think a lot of people, I think because of what the Republicans, how drastic they've been, or how craven and transparent they've been about their corruption. They've been pretty transparent. They may act like they're sneaking, but they're not sneaking. They're doing it right in front of your face. And I think a lot of people are waking up because of that. I mean, to hear that, I can't believe to say this, but Snoop Dogg has never voted before, and now he's voting this year. I don't know why all of a sudden now he decided to vote. Like
that really just pisses me off. It just pisses me off. Like, it just shows the stupidity. You can have all the money in the world and still be stupid. And yes, I'm saying Snoop Dogg is stupid. Stupid. You're absolutely stupid that you are that rich. Actually, hold on. How rich is Snoop Dogg?
Oh, I'm about to ask Google.
But actually, go ahead. Ask Google, because I'm tired of fucking typing.
Okay, Google, how much is Snoop Dogg worth?
On the website, wealthygorilla.com.
Can you hear this?
Hey, Issa, yeah.
Snoop Dogg's net worth is $150 million.
$150 million. Okay, Google. Cancel.
And this motherfucker decided to go publicly and say that he did not vote until now. He registered to vote. Get into not only the sheer ignorance, but the sheer negligence of his working for his future of his kids. Because he's, again, guys, like I said last episode, plutocracy. We are living in a plutocratic democracy. Okay, Snoop Dogg, just like Ye, we're about to get to, believes that he could buy his kids anything that they fucking want, except for the fact that they will always be black. They will always be looked at as a nigger, no matter where they fucking go in this country or world. And they will always be a part of the systemic racism that's happening, no matter how much money's in your fucking pocket, because your father's too stupid enough to go register to vote. Worth all that money. All that money. Why? All that money, all that fucking money, and you're not voting.
Not a waste, a complete
waste.
But
yet you want to demean women. You want to tell women why, like, come on, do I need to go further? Fuck out of here, my nigga. I'm done. I don't want to talk about no more.
There were several about the older rappers.
And we need all of them. Sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. We need a list of all of them, because that's outrageous. That's outrageous. You have people, just like my dad, who was in and out the system, but served his time, and now he cannot vote because this country demeaned people from prison, as if once you're done with your time, on something that is, rightfully.
No, it's more than demean. They took their rights away.
Everything. Yes, the rights are inhumane. Like, aside from where they fucking staying at, we don't even talk about the prisons. You already know right now, I have family in prison going through this COVID situation. My cousin, I don't know how the hell he got on Facebook, but he's sitting there talking about free me, help me. And it's horrible. I can't look at his Facebook stories because he knows I'm going to look at it. And then that affects me. And then you have people like Snoop Dogg who over here worth all his money, and all you do is talk shit. You and 50 Cent, all of the list of all of y'all niggas on there, Chance the Rapper, like y'all, all y'all do is sit there and talk.
Yeah,
shit.
I think that was the other one who said that he'd never voted before, that he was going to vote.
Over it. And we give these people credence because they're men, because of male patriarchy, and because they sit there and that's what it is. That's what it is.
So
that's
I want to know
Kanye, like he could fucking do something. He's a retard.
I just want to know, how did Chance the Rapper get into the White House? With Obama loved Chance, and did he tell him he didn't vote either? I hope he didn't say that then. But I do know there's a group of them. I know Talib Kweli just got blocked off of Twitter for harassing a woman. I think it's also it's also his first time voting. So I just find it interesting that there's a lot of people who are, supposed to be people that we look up to.
Brown didn't vote. All these people, look at all the people that attack women. Let's go down the list. And it's not even that. It's because you attack women, you don't vote. It just shows that they're all kind of the same people. That's what it shows. They have the same habitual habits, cognitive behavioral. Like they have the same things that they do. And then these people don't vote. They don't vote. Lil Wayne sitting on fucking FS1 telling these white folk, these white hosts about black people rioting and all saying the same words Trina said, just in a nicer, calmer way, looking like he just got fucking drugged up and shit, like one dread hanging from his head. Like these are the people. These are the people, Shakana. These are the people who are sitting on wealth in Buckhead, Atlanta, right next to my brother. But my brother is trying to give back with his credit business and his hip hop credit, trying to do something different.
Yeah, but I think that's the.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I understand. I think that's the okie doke, though. I think the okie doke is to assume because they have money that they have intelligence or they have the ability to have access to information, and which they do. I mean, if Snoop Dogg, his kids are going to UCLA, UCLA. So
they're not voting.
But that's what I'm just trying to say is that they're just because you have money doesn't necessarily mean that you have accessed the information that you now have access to, because you're enlulled because you got the money. You get the money and the power. Isn't that what money, power, respect was? That the Junior Mafia, money, power, respect. And so there was nothing about voting in there. It was like money, power, respect. And no one said nothing about voting. No one said nothing about, criminal justice reform. No one was talking about that stuff.
It was for the streets. It wasn't for to get us to get out the house and go to vote. It was to get us to make that quick money, power, respect. What they talking about? Quick money, selling drugs, flipping and tumbling. That's what they're talking about. They weren't talking about money, power, respect, go in Congress and
they weren't. Absolutely.
No, yes, and that's
Public Enemy was. I mean, there were a few that were telling you that you need to be abreast of what's going on in this world. I want to say all
were like
rappers
the version of NWA. I mean, fight the power compared to fuck the police. I got it. Like, I mean,
and believe it or not, to me, I think NWA was more politically effective than some other rappers. I
documentary. Political hate is the quickest thing to get people going. Political hate. You find people that hate the same people. Full steam ahead. Absolutely.
Because I mean, fuck the police was the original defund the police. That was literally what they were talking about. They were talking about the language of, taking the money away from these people. These police are out here, killing us, beating us up, arresting us, choking us out, lynching us. And they were talking about it then, I mean, it was the reason why it was so powerful, and it got the attention of the White House. Remember when the whole Bush thing, he was, he had to go up there, or was it Reagan? Was it Reagan or Bush? This was in the 80s. So it was probably Bush Reagan, because it was Reagan, then Bush took over for another 4 years after Reagan. And so, it was just interesting to me that just all that money and nothing to do with it, like no way of educating other people. I mean, at least you can't say that about Beyonce. We finally saw Beyonce's Black is King. Do you feel differently now about the Black is King than you did maybe before? Because we were hearing things about the appropriation of the African culture, but to see that she put so much time into
appropriated from the culture. I mean, we're not gonna act like she didn't saw something there and said, I want to do my own thing, and she got paid $100 million to do it. Like, I mean, let's be honest. So she appropriated, absolutely. Is she? But
she went there. You're right. She definitely appropriated, but she also gave homage. Yeah. I mean, because
homage, yeah, absolutely.
She told you where it came from. If when you really watch it, there are so many connections to Africa that were filmed in Africa. Like they didn't take it to a soundstage, is what I'm trying to say, which they could have. They could have took the whole thing to a soundstage and give you green screen and called you motherfuckers a day, okay? Which they didn't. They actually did go to Africa.
Gaga, yes.
And I do remember when we were doing, we were looking at Hush Puppies information. We had pumped into, some people who felt a way about you know how you know, the Lion King and
Shout out to
how
African people.
black Americans are appropriating African culture as though it's one Africa.
Wakanda,
There's 50, yeah,
Wakandification of it all.
yeah, yeah. You know, there's 53 countries in Africa, and they all just don't get along. They're all not the same cultures and tribes and rituals. And so I do give her credit for that. I didn't see any complaint actually after the video was released from the Africans, because they were obviously satisfied by her commitment to displaying the culture in its true form, knowing that it was just Nigeria, Ghana. There was some other South African cultures that she had touched on, but it's just an amazing thing. I mean, I'm glad that Beyonce did the right thing with this Black is King. I'm really happy that she didn't, you know, do the old okey doke and be, you know, ignorant and just give us fashion without giving us the culture, or giving us culture that seems to be a caricature of the countries in Africa, other than actual what was going on there. So I have to give her credit for that. I come down bad on you know, Beyonce when she fucks up. So I do want to say she did a good job here. I was quite impressed, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's up for some type of nomination during next year.
Of course. Yeah. Disney's not stupid. That's how you do it.
You talked about the business aspect of Disney, you know, putting Beyonce at, you know, it brought a lot of business to Disney Plus.
Reports, numbers have surged as far as Disney Plus, you know, subscribers, and you know, she got her, you know, Disney got the return on their investment. Let's just say that their ROI is looking really.
So what's going on with the Gap?
Come on.
The Gap.
Okay. Well, let's just say they had
400 years. For 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
So that is the guy that's doing business with the Gap right now and Adidas.
Right.
Do you want to go there? You want to talk about it? You want to talk about the Republicans useful idiot?
I want to which one? I want to just talk about, well, just add my 2 cents.
You're giving me very Kelly Ripa right now. You're giving me Kelly Ripa.
My children. Yes, Miss VP in the background. Hood. So Beyonce, you know, you're absolutely right. I just want to add my 2 cents here. That I think that she did definitely do a great job showing the cultural aspects and bringing fashion to the next like level. You know, and Vogue magazine even said like she had literally brought Fashion Week wrapped up in one whole like run. Like she put a fashion show in within her own, you know, cultural, you know, just took us all on a cultural run of just what's going on in Africa and like our history, and you know, everything that she did with the looks was what, like you mentioned, paying homage and from the water, balancing the water on the head thing. I forget what they call that. Doing all the like the traditions that still goes on, you know. But it's definitely, like I said, definitely Disney made the best decision. You know, I'm sure that I have a lot of other companies looking at this. I mean, Apple tried to do the same thing with Jen Aniston and Reese Witherspoon with their morning show stuff and Oprah, you know, but Beyonce is showing by herself alone that she can, you know, just the strength of her artistry, like it goes beyond bounds, you know. She really is one of the most, I would say at this current moment, one of the greatest performers of our lifetime. That's what I got from that entire, this is bigger. This is like homecoming for real for us. Homecoming was like a cute thing for HBCUs. Everyone had the little step thing, da 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 da. But this, what I got from it was taking us back home. And we were saying like the last person like we did that was like, for me, I remember seeing Janet Jackson Together Again. That video was very much African vibes, you know. for my era, for what I can remember. And then you brought up Rhythm of Nation, something else that brought culture, not to say like clearly everyone pulls from something, but with this thing solidified Beyonce, I mean, she has no album out right now. This is the album. And, and yeah, she's going to get awards. I think she's going to get Grammys. She's going to get Oscars possibly. She's going to get next year Emmy nods. I see her getting everything. Musicality behind Beyonce, she is a music genius. She's a genius, and that's the difference between her and the next person we're going to talk to, because she puts her money where her mouth is, and she knows her limitations. Like everyone still questions her acting ability, but I believe Beyonce, with her work ethic, if she really wants it, she'll get it. But yeah, she is one of our greatest performers of our lifetime. But aside from that, the whole the African Glitz channel that had the story about the people of Africa saying that what they felt, I still believe that their feelings, I mean their opinions and feelings are valid, because we're not there, we're not living in those countries to sit, so when people like that say things like, just like we saw today with Nick Cannon a couple episodes ago, like I listen, and clearly she did too, because it's not the first time I said something, so hopefully there is no more of that. But you do need to show up there on tour, girl. No shade. Once this is over, go see the girls in Africa. That's all they asking. Can you come here? Because that's what it was. She don't even come here. I know. That's what it was. But yeah, shout out to Jay and Bay, doing a damn thing. Jay-Z.
They're doing so much better right now than Kanye and Kim. I just know it's just so much better. Than what's going on over there.
You have I think you have a clip that can segue.
Yeah, well, I will kind of help you guys out with this clip. So this week, a lot of things happened. Last week was the meltdown, and so this week people started to look deeper into why Kanye is actually not going to be on the ballot in all places, but strategically going to certain places. And how is he able to do all this, signature stuff while he's losing his mind and on a plane ride to a secret location where him and Kim can work out their politics? Well, there's the old evangelicals again. Here they come on their little white horses.
Patrick, tonight election officials say that petition is pending. At least 2,000 valid signatures would be needed as new questions arise tonight about whether some Republicans are helping Kanye West get on the ballot. Minutes before the 5 p.m. deadline, the SUV pulls up. 12 News is the only camera there. Inside, a shuffle of nomination papers for Kanye West, forced to call election officials since the building is closed, and eventually emerging.
How many signatures did you collect?
Walking in seconds after 5 p.m. and escorted to the commission's third-floor offices.
Can someone come down and let us up? Yeah, I'll be right down. Thank you.
Minutes later, 12 News was asked to leave.
So they are submitting petitions for a public campaign, and we cannot get video of that.
They're in our office, which is closed right now.
Okay.
And the woman submitting the petitions.
Anything on signatures or who you guys are?
Didn't answer any questions on the way out. But tonight, 12 News has confirmed that's Lane Ruland, a Madison attorney who has worked for the Wisconsin GOP and RNC. The New York Times is also reporting on a handful of Republican aides in other states working to get Kanye West on the ballot, raising new questions about the campaign's purpose. As 12 News exclusively showed you last night,
this is just to help put his name on the ballot so that, he can run for office.
The campaign hired the firm Let the Voters Decide to collect signatures in Milwaukee in an 11th hour effort to get on Wisconsin's ballot.
Your mic is on.
Just sorry, yeah. The same lawyer. So the same lawyer that is involved in a lawsuit of suing a local Wisconsin news, Wisconsin news station, for playing a negative ad against Trump. And so the Republicans have actually, or the Trump administration or the campaign has gone on to actually, which are Republicans? Can we just start with this? They're separate entities or something?
Thank you.
They're all one lump, garbage party at this point. So basically the Republicans are suing, local Wisconsin news station because they said something bad about them. This woman is the same woman who's out there trying to get signatures from where I don't know, and to the ballot so that he can literally take votes away from Joe Biden.
Well,
that was admitted this week, wasn't it?
And the story you're talking about, which we reported on yesterday on our live broadcast, guys, check that out at Host Chat Live, Twitter, and Facebook now, at Host Chat Live. And we spoke about this story from Mercury News, which broke down the multiple reports in that story you heard from New York Times, New York Magazine, and Vice. And not only does he have Lane Rulin, he also has Chuck Wilton. He also has another guy as well in his campaign. All of them who work, in and out the GOP, let's just say, in regards to getting people in the White House, and now they're trying to use him to do the work of this crime mob that we call Agent 45. But your latest story, what you just said about him saying that he literally said that in this Forbes, I guess they went back to him and the billionaire.
Yeah, because why would Forbes leave it alone when they got so much response the first time?
Mm-hmm. And it says here that he is working for the president as GOP operatives help him work to get into the state ballots, and obviously take votes away from Joe Biden.
I just noticed how quiet all the Kanye fans are. I didn't hear any Kanye fans this week. I didn't hear that.
Because now so much evidence is mounting up, and it goes here. It says, asked about that directly. West said rather than running for president, he's walking. He was walking to win. And it goes on about him rebuff various attempts to clarify who was driving his ballot access or strategy, whether it's being coordinated with Republican affiliate officials. Obviously, we know that by now. And then he goes on about 45, saying that he likes Kanye very much. We all know what happened there when he went there and called him his dragon brother and all of this disgusting.
They were hugging and kissing and smooching and blow kissing. I love you. I love you too. Right. I love you.
So, they're speaking about the whole birthday party situation. And so it just continues,
So what do we do now? What do we do? I mean, what do we do with Kanye as a culture? I mean, is this cancelable, or, is it the mental illness? I mean, I don't know. He's
going to have his stands no matter what. Just like this president has his stands no matter what. When he's out of this White House and in jail or even dead, he's still going to have people touting the maggots, as I call them, out there. And you're going to have these Jesus nuts, they're going to be pushing him no matter what, because they believe everything that comes out of his mouth, that he's a genius. And they put aside all the other bullshit that we see, specifically both of us see as detrimental to our society, our culture, like going on stage and saying Harriet Tubman freed the slaves to go work for white people. Like, majority of Americans don't even know, Black Americans don't know much of their own history because of the school, which George Carlin said. Like, we are indoctrinated to be stupid. So we know the basis, but like that can be contortion. How many people read the books now? The people that grew up, are you still reading those books? You're like, you know what? He might be onto something. No, he's not. But that's how easy it is to switch people over, because Kanye is a success in people's eyes. Plutocracy. Like, it only works when you have people who are enabling your maniacal, things that you want to do with your so-called success, with your money, your power. The power derives from your money. So Kanye,
because people are always going to invest in more power. I mean, that's just what they do, right? Yeah. And it was interesting that that the Republican Party actually really did pay Black people to go around in these battleground states and actually try to get signatures. Now, yeah, and then there was more investigation and found that some of them weren't real actual signatures. Some were like 5 people living in the same, it was 15 people living in the same address. on the paper. It was just ridiculous. They showed.
This is the same thing that this president is out here saying about mail-in ballots and all this stuff and how they put dead people on the thing. No, you guys are doing that. You guys are going and putting false names on there and putting in this shit because they deconstruct the government, so they where everything is, that this is how it's working. Like, how do you think? If it's not for independent investigations and real journalism from the publications that are out there doing this stuff, like, we would not know about this.
No, we wouldn't. No.
Won't know. And like, but everything it's all connected. Like, he has to rob Peter to pay Paul. Somebody in these election committees know what the fuck is going on, waiting for Trump to come along and come. Okay, he got his party. Yay! All right. What do you need? What do you need? And how much you paying me to do it?
That makes me believe though that his money isn't long. That's what it means to me. Like, that means like Kanye's money as an artist. One, he has a catalog. That's worth a little money. I mean, that doesn't go anywhere. I mean, there's a lot of artists that are sitting around on lovely royalties, and they're not, trying to take down the government. So
he said his company Yeezys is worth $1 billion, not him. People don't.
Yeah, and he didn't even create that. It's not. He act like he actually created Yeezys out of like thin air. Like he's
Jeff
sat down
Bezos. He's like Jeff Bezos started Amazon out of his garage. Okay, he lost hundreds of millions of dollars before he became this trillionaire in the making, and because of our systemic fucking bureaucracy of plutocratic.
Yeah, he takes advantage of it.
Yeah, he takes advantage of it.
So what did Kanye ever do? I'm still waiting for the genius of Kanye to show up.
Well, according
if it isn't making a beat, I don't want to hear from him.
According to his loyalists, someone in the hip hop community says that he said gays are okay in the industry. He said.
They called him an ally. I am still hurt to this day. And it's something that I don't think I'll ever forget. If we ever start doing interviews, if we ever get him on this show, is the one thing I am going to lose my shits if he still supports
everyone that's listening to this show will finally say, "Oh my God, that's him." Yes, because you'll be able to put it together. Yes, it's ridiculous that how far people will just like.
They're still living on. They're living in a dream. They're living in old world because they never grew up. There's this idea that they what they remember was Kanye from George Bush doesn't care about black people. Kanye. That's the Kanye that they see. That's the Kanye they see. And so they see the Kanye that sat there and said, "Oh, well, the industry hates the gays and it's unfair how the hip hop community treats the gays." I just don't understand, how did he become an ally when that's all he did? I still don't know one gay rapper that was under good music.
So they certainly weren't out, honey. So I don't know.
If they were songwriters. Exactly. They were songwriters, which means you didn't know who they were. And listen, I think I know just about every songwriter that I've seen come out with music, unless they're still hiding in the wings, which point they probably are. If they're getting good money music, good music money, they're probably staying low. You don't want everybody to know.
Young money, good money, do all the fucking thing. They're all fucking labels. Fuck out of here. They put out 3 artists at a time. Come on now, girl, goodbye. He's at the point where he is polling at 2%. 2% is enough to take away hundreds of thousands of votes from Joe Biden.
Yeah. That's what Jill Stein did, and she took enough away to hurt Hillary Clinton.
And so it's just like, and mind you, Joe Biden also has to get the real thing. He got to get the Electoral College, which luckily the delegates, super delegates, and the delegates, they know Joe more so than they know this Kanye schmuck. Excuse me, Kanye the schmuck. And that's just the tea of the day. But we have to come out strong for Joe, so that way the Electoral College has no way of going around, or Russia, if you're listening, can fucking come in here and try to fuck with our elections, which they already are. Just reports this morning that Russia's back at it, and they're all there. So they want. So let me get this straight. They hacked that last election. They hacked that.
When did they stop?
They hacked our national grids. our national grid of electricity. They hacked our national grids. They got some intel from this president. He brought them in the White House. And they probably did a lot of other shit that we don't know of. We know that they fucked with black people, black voters the last election with the misinformation. They're still doing it now. And now reports are saying that they want bounties on American heads, which we're investigating, thanks to investigating journalism and independent journalism. They're doing their work, pulling the things together, you know. And now we're seeing also some reports I saw that the Khashoggi killing was deliberately like put together and possibly Kushner may know it. They like it is just all this is coming out now because obviously people are leaking crap, and it's just like so now they pulling in Kanye, and it's like, what is wrong with you? And that's because he's a narcissist, he's an egomaniac, like he it has no bounds. And then you have his wife, please give us privacy. Like, I just want privacy. No, you're getting photographed on TMZ, but watching you get on planes and cry on cue. She cried and looked at the camera crying on cue. Come on now. I don't have time for this. Chris Jones.
Hey, Rob Kardashian's back. He's back.
Right, exactly. So now it's all about family, right? That's the brand, the Kardashians.
Back to Rob.
All them huddled together. Chris
Drag
Jones,
Rob out there when all else fails.
She said, listen, this is what we're going to do, Ryan. We're going to talk about family. Rob is back. He better be back. He's been sitting on fucking deferred payments for how long? So, Rob, let's go. Get your ass up. Throw your socks out there. Let's get him a girl. Get him a girl. Now say he got a girl. Now he got a girl. And come on. It is so transparent. It's all PR. And now they flew to wherever so he could. So remember, according to TMZ, the last time they flew out together, they weren't even talking. So you think they're gonna talk now?
Yeah, no. What happened was what they said was they hadn't had any time together. They haven't spent any time together during the pandemic, which doesn't make sense to me because everyone else seemed to be locked in with their fucking wives.
Before that, they went to Dominican Republic, and I think last year October. And
that was the last time they spoke to each other. So they see each other on vacation.
They didn't talk there, and then from there, TMZ said that's when it started, and then from there it just build up, and clearly no one says anything. They all enable each other because they're a business deal. So that is
he said about that family.
I'm just going by what they said. That's what they said. They weren't talking on terms in DR, and then it led to all of this, you know, and now they're back on another plane to do no talking. So I'm just going. I don't know, but the point is that he is very dangerous to our society. He's a threat. Actually,
Obama said it the best to me. I always like Obama's take.
She's like a perfectly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing?
Why would he do that?
He's a jackass.
Basically.
Yeah, that's all I need to know. So listen, you introduced the two songs coming up and what we're going to be dealing with when we come back from this musical break.
And we're going to go out with this diva moment too, because we need to play this on our season finale, the diva moment. What you say? Oh, right. So the songs we are playing is one of my favorite artists, and I don't know how the hell you threw this other one on here, but I guess he wants to play this, so I give a little twerk going along. We got Vincent latest track, Hard to Forget.
Is he trying to play me on my musical pick? I know he's not trying to play me.
Esteban the God with a track that's currently number 4 on the weekly top 40. Slut. Yes, that's all you need to know. Slut. So those two tracks are coming up. We're gonna go out with this diva moment from Phyllis Hyman on Black Celebrities, not with Progress. And then when we come back, we have the latest on we got a lot of clips to get through, so we're gonna do like a speed round. We got Tish James coming for the NRA. We got Matt Al breaking down why the NRA cannot just run off with you. 45. And then we have some other stuff. We're talking about the Confederacy. I think this is important information you guys need to know. And then we're gonna talk about Ellen. Ellen, and I have 2 clips that I want to share with you guys as well. So stick around for that. Within the next hour, we're gonna give all that to you, and we're gonna head out to commercial break. You're listening to the season finale of Host Chat Live, season 2, episode 44, Descendant.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330.
No, seriously, go. We need money.
Thank you very much.
I'm with everything. Like I'm with it all. What you wanna do? I'm a slut. What's up? Get me lit.
I'm looking for a slut with a big butt. Ain't afraid to fuck. all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt. Ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt. Ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt. Ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. Wobbly wobble, wobble, wobbin'. Booty so fat, man, my zipper is throbbing. Damn. Come and give me brain, bitch, I want all the knowledge. Head so good, have to send you to college. Lick me from my head to my toes, and I wanna move from the bed down to the floor, and I wanna. You make it so good, I don't wanna leave, but I gotta no say what's your slut fantasies? I'm looking for a slut with a big butt, ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt, ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt, ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt, ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. Take it off, bitch, bend over, let me see it. I wanna see that ass smile at me like a demon. And I'ma pay your bills if you get me what I'm needing. And you my slutty nugget, about to dip you in some semen. I mean it, my eyes so anemic. Say fuck you with my guapo chain on, cause it's gleaming. You creaming, oh fuck, yeah, you creaming. Say I'm a Pisces, I'ma fuck you till you screaming. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt, ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt, ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt, ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. I'm looking for a slut with a big butt, ain't afraid to fuck, and all they want is nuts. Lay on the bed, give me head, shouldn't have to ask. I'm not gonna beg. Estefan is the name, and guapo on my chain. Let's cover boy. Let's run a
Only a man knows what a man needs.
I run a black-owned company. In other words, it's a minority-based company. Most of my employees are black or Hispanic, and I deliberately started that years ago because of the unfortunate dilemma of minorities in the workforce and in the entertainment field, where blacks generate billions of dollars. We don't often get the opportunity to reap the benefits from that money that we generate. And considering that I generate part of that billion, I'm going to take it back to the community that put me here in the first place. That's very important to me. It makes sense. It's like adding one and one together. It makes two. Well, if the community put me out here, I've got to bring the community where I am. It's that simple. And it makes so much sense to me. I don't understand why others don't do it more often.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Why don't you think they are?
I have not asked any other black artists. I don't know. I have witnessed other artists. I look at Tina Turner, and I have asked the company about her staff, and I know she has no black people on her staff, excluding one guy, I think, who takes care of her costumes and all. Diana Ross, I don't believe she has many blacks on her staff. I have seen her tour book and all, and you see photographs, unless they all stayed home. The night they took the pictures, I don't know. But I think it stems from the stereotypes from days past. I think that we're made to believe that you sing and I, the management, let me do the other work. And we're brought up to believe that blacks can't do the managerial part, the same way in baseball, where the gentleman said that blacks were not intelligent enough, if I'm not mistaken. I know he said something in that order. I mean, we can't handle that sort of job. What a ridiculous thing to say. Bless his heart, too, by the way. I love the fact that he said that. I'm not angry with him at all. It's so nice to have someone say what we know everybody's thinking.
Absolutely.
The stars are listening, the street lights. See every move, every step I take. Heartbreaking champagne, the whole night. I'm sick of the burn, sick of the aftertaste. I gave it all to you, it's all to you. I fought for you the most. I gave it all to you, not cause of you. I'm punch drunk on your dope, punch drunk on your dope. Why would you leave me just to live in my head? So easy to love, so hard to forget. Drinking and dancing while you're dreaming in bed. So easy to love, so hard to forget. Another midnight I'm without you. Another call into AM. Why would you leave me just to live in my head? So easy to love, so hard to forget. Hard to forget. I don't listen. Street lights, see every move, every step I take. Heartbreaking champagne the whole night. I'm sick of the burn, sick of the aftertaste. I gave it all to you, exhausted you. I fought for you the most. I gave it all to you, the kind to you. I'm punch drunk on your dope, punch drunk on your dope. Why would you leave me just to live in my head? So easy to love, so hard to forget. Drinking and dancing while you're dreaming in bed. So easy to love, so hard to forget. Another midnight I'm without you. Another call into AM. Why would you leave me just to live in my head? So easy to love, so hard to forget. Hard to forget. Hard to forget. Was that easy for you to forget? Was it easy for you to forget?
This is New York. Everybody late.
Why would you leave me just to live in my head? So easy to love, so hard to forget. Drinking and dancing while you're dreaming in bed. So easy to love, so hard to forget. Another midnight I'm without you. Another call into an end. Why would you leave me just to live in my head? So easy to love, so hard to forget.
Rise and shine.
This Drake is gonna be hard to forget, and that song is a bop. Shout out to what's his name, Vincent.
What's his name? Yeah, that drink is real good. That's a good drink right
Vincent
there.
for hard to forget, honey. That track is a bop. I love it. I love Vincent. I love you, Vincent. And then we had Estefan the God because he's looking for a slut with a big butt. So if that's you, hello. Yes. Wait, put the dumpling down here. So yeah, we are back. Season 2, episode 44, Dissident.
I didn't get to take my picture of my drink. I'm gonna do that while the clip is playing. And big shout! I just want to give a big shout out to these three lovely ladies. We're actually on the chat while we were doing the show. Because we're supposed to be coming together to do a little show tomorrow. So they were talking about the change of time, like to make it to 12 and all of this stuff, and then what we're gonna talk about and stuff. So it gave me a little bit of the new Catfish. Like, oh my God, the Catfish, the new episode of the Catfish, where Neve and what's her name? I can't even think of her name. Cam. They're talking to the two people, right?
We gotta watch it again.
Oh my goodness!
Really
and they're doing a side chat. They're doing this like this. I don't believe a word he's saying.
While they're doing because it's all virtual at home now, quarantine edition. So they're talking to each other via chat on you see Neb's computer chatting with Cam. I don't think this guy's real, but it's so good. Please keep it just like this from now on, even post the pandemic. It's fascinating. I gotta watch it again. We were texting Chris. I don't know if he watched it yet, but we're gonna recap it next week on the LGBT TV recap. Make sure to follow us on Periscope and Instagram and Facebook. We'll be throwing things on YouTube soon, but follow us at Host Chat Live. You do not want to miss those live broadcasts. We're going to keep coming back to you guys until we return, God knows when, because we all got to wake up and thank the Lord for a new day. So we all here in September. We'll be back. Speaking of praying for a new day, I'm sure Ellen DeGeneres is at home in one of her nice mansions, hopefully in Malibu, because the one in Malibu looks really cute. But apparently it's went from worse to even worse to now.
Yes, please don't say worser.
I was gonna say that and just sound real ignorant, but I was like, let me not do that. I'm gonna show everyone that I have actual vernacular. Let me stop. But yeah, so it went from just it's at a point where I just say just drop the damn show. We have a former producer comes out.
Original producer. The
Comes out
original
again.
producer of the show.
Ellen. And I remember last week Chris Avalon was saying about her original DJ was saying something. I told you guys post show that there was Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond, the brother, the tall one. He came on Twitter and said this is nothing new. Ellen's a horrible person, blah blah blah. Holly was throwing her down the tube. This is getting so disgusting that I say just drop the show, NBC. No need to even come back to September. Ellen, you did a great thing with your run. You were the highest rated show for decades, the most Emmy Award winning TV talk show in history. Ellen, you did your thing, but backstage was a fucking hot mess. Roll the clip.
This TV producer is speaking out on camera for the first time about what it was like working for Ellen DeGeneres.
Toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar. That's what she is.
Ellen was with Ellen from the beginning in 2003.
Say no more, sis.
Launched.
We were told from the very beginning, don't talk to Ellen, don't do this. You can't, go into her office. It was very nerve-wracking, very stressful. We all walked on eggshells all the time.
Muscat says, despite Ellen's Queen of Nice reputation, it became clear early on that it would not be a pleasant place to work. One incident with executive producer Ed Glavin left her shaken.
We were in our production meetings, and she would watch Ed go off on people. Ellen would look at Ed, and she would laugh, because I was hoping she was going to say, Ed, you can't be yelling at crew this way. You can't be yelling at people this way. She laughed and she said, every production needs their dog.
Meaning
Ed is her dog.
Like her attack dog.
Her attack dog. So therefore she doesn't need to do that. He took the role of being the attack dog that she didn't have to now be the attack dog. So she didn't have to yell.
So when Ellen says she's not aware of this environment, you don't think that rings true?
It's a lie.
Muscat won 2 daytime Emmys with the show. She was let go in 2004.
As a host, she's amazing as a host. But as a boss and someone who's behind the scenes running the show, she's a different person. She's not the person people see in front of the camera.
Do you think anything will change?
No, because she should have apologized 16 years ago. This environment, this toxic culture that she created in the office has been going on for 16 years.
Today, pop star Katy Perry became the first big name to rally around the embattled TV talk show host. I know I can't speak for anyone else's experiences besides my own, but I want to acknowledge that I have only ever had positive takeaways from my time with Ellen. I think we all have witnessed the light and continual fight for equality that she has brought to the world through her platform for decades. Comedian Kevin Hart added his support, writing on Instagram, I have known Ellen for years, and I can honestly say that she's one of the dopest people on the planet. She has treated my family and my team with love and respect.
People on the planet. What does that mean?
Life, Ellen.
Can I just say also?
What does that mean? The dopest person people on. What does that mean? Get better vernacular. I just said. I don't want to say what I like the dopest. How old are you, Kevin? This is the same man that wanted to beat his child over the head for being gay, playing with dolls. Like,
I guess not much change.
And she brought you on to be apologetic and threw her own foot in her mouth, and now you're putting your foot back in your mouth. Say no more.
Can I say though, to both people that made a comment, no one was saying that she wasn't a good person,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of what's his name, Kevin Hart's family. That's not the accusation. The
Thank
accusation
you.
is to her staff.
Thank
So
you.
her treating you and your staff nicely doesn't change anything, which means that apology was bullshit.
Thank you.
Or that backing her up was bullshit. And the same thing with
That's
Katy
all it
Perry.
was. Yep, that's all it was.
Katy Perry, no one was questioning her
Relationship
how
with
much
you.
she cares about different equality projects. No one's saying that. What we're saying is she's a fucked up manager. She doesn't know how to manage, and she's abusive to her crew, which clearly was true because it's the same guy that got fired. Wasn't that the same? The same. That's NBC, right? Isn't that NBC? And isn't this the same place that Gabby Union said there was problems here. There's problems at NBC. So then why are we acting like this is so strange that she would be a raving bitch behind the thing? And even if she's not the one implementing the lashings or the disrespect, the fact that again
her and her wife.
She allowed a producer to talk to someone else disrespectfully and in the face of another producer and didn't do anything and actually egged him on, actually said that's the way you lead. So that is a failure for Ellen, period. Done. End of story. Stop defending her. I don't want to hear that she's a nice person when you met her at the local, Whole Foods. Or you saw her at what's that expensive restaurant in LA or something, Chow's or Nubu or whatever, and all of a sudden, oh, she was so nice to me. We're not talking about you, bitch. We're talking about the people that were getting paid to get disrespected by her and the producers of the show.
It just makes it come off so condescending when you got people like Katie and people who are not even affected by this, just sitting there talking about how she treated you. It's not about you. This goes for everyone who's coming out defending people, whether it be sexual assaulters. I will never, even Whoopi. Well, I don't know. Barbara was nice to me. Bitch, we're not talking about you. If it's all, your name would have been in the article. Whoops. But we're talking about can you understand that there's someone treating people horribly? Not to say, well, it happened to me, so I don't know. But Slonny, I'm so sorry. It's the same thing. Like it is backhanded, like condescending. Like, it's so condescending. It's just like, shut up. Kevin Hart, you're just looking out for someone who looked out for you. That's all that. I'm sure that was a conversation or the text. Man, I looked out for you. You need to look out for me. Come on. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's what that was. And so
she's trying to see who her friends are.
He crafted a statement that had nothing
to do. It clearly
with,
came from him. That wasn't a
which had nothing to do with the accusation. Now, if you spoke to someone who used to work at Ellen's and you said, well, I spoke to such and such that worked at Ellen and they said they didn't have an issue. Okay, I can even understand you going there, but you just went to, oh, she treated me nicely. Okay, no one's talking about you. You're right, babe. That's exactly, it's their ego. Well, I say they're nice, so they're nice, just like what she did to him. Well, I say that he's apologetic, so take his apology.
It's the utmost like brainwashing because they say it, then they're fans, they're loyalists. Well, Katie said she's nice. Who the fuck?
I've always been a fan of Ellen. I've never really, considered her to be an enemy or anything like that, or to any of my causes. But I'm not going to support her if she's treating people like this, and I would call for her to step down. What is wrong with holding people accountable? What's wrong with just saying, girl, this is what you did. You shouldn't have did it. You should have said something earlier and stop these celebrities from coming in and making it worse for you, because that just makes it worse. This makes me feel like that you're definitely not genuine. There's not a genuine bone in your body, which means guess what? Everything that they're saying is true because you've acted like it's true.
And it like this is
actions speak louder than words all the time.
Thank you. Unlike Miss Pinkett Smith do not want to admit, this is a transgression. This is a transgression, honey. Miss Pinkett Smith, this is what you call a transgression. Let me explain to you, darling. Sit down and come to the mic. Hello. So this is a transgression because they went from it went from itty bitty thing. Oh, Ellen's not nice. She's nice. Da da da. To now it's racism, and then it went from like to sexual assault. Like it went from not being nice to racism to sexual assault. That you allow all of that to allow from 10 years ago. So we're not talking about 20. This 2013, another incident in 2017, if I remember the report. So, and it's plenty of this. We have this producer who stands alone on her own corroboration here. So this is a transgression, sweetie. And now Ellen, it got these celebrities placated for her, the ones that are left, the ones that don't want to, and it is disingenuine to everybody's fan base. Because what you're saying is not genuine, Katie. What you're saying is not genuine, Kevin, because it's not pointing to the story.
It's not addressing the issue.
Thank you.
You're just not addressing the issue. So
you're
shut
just
up.
adding a little.
If you can't address the
on it.
issue, then be quiet and step aside.
Thank
and
you.
Don't allow your friend to sit there and say, "Oh, come to my rescue." I'm not coming to your rescue. What's wrong with saying that? What's wrong with saying I can't come to your rescue, Ellen? I don't work on your staff. I'm not a producer on your show, so I can't say anything. Why can't a human being say that? Why can't you say that as a man? You're supposed to be a black man. You're supposed to be all this black man, and Katy Perry is supposed to be all this powerful.
Because they hung out in Malibu, her house, and ate with her chef, and sat there and joked, and that's what it was. We put bread together, so I'm gonna defend my friend. Okay. All right.
Can I tell you? Can I say something quickly? I also want to say that I know that game. I know that game because I was in that game. I was in that game where celebrities or people of interest, not necessarily celebrities, because they weren't necessarily celebrities, but there were people of interest in our group, and they would invite me over to things, invite me over to their house. They would wine and dine me. They would say, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" and be nice to me all the time. So then when they do something stupid and I report on it. Oh, come on! I thought we were friends. I didn't understand what did your friendship have to do with you doing coke at the lounge. Like you getting caught doing lines off the bar.
What Wendy said to Nene,
and getting finger popped by one of the, or you finger popping one of the strippers when you're supposed to be married to Mr. CNN over there, Mr. Whatever. I mean, these things happen.
Hey, the book is coming. Woo!
I just know that it's really annoying when people who know you're in the business, and Wendy deals with this a lot. When knows you're in the business, you know my deal, you know what I'm doing here, and then you wine and dine me in a way that's shutting me up. That doesn't work, man. It just doesn't work. And if it does work for those, then that's their credibility that they're willing to let go.
And then what happens is that once you say no, they do everything to try to silence you or work sure you're not. I'm telling you, that's what happens. That is the game. Oh yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're the bad guy. Look at how he's dragging black gay men under the bus. Really, am I? Or did you do coke on the fucking thing and finger pop a fucking it's like you go over your action that you did that caused me to say something because people want to know why was he acting like that at Splash all night long. I don't know why he was acting like that.
Because Splash is closed and no one knows who the fuck are you talking about because he no longer works at CNN. So this is just so juicy or dusty. I don't even know. Oh my God. Okay, so let's get to this story here. Let's get to these. We got clips and I want to get these out. Because we got to talk about the NRA going down. We got through this Ellen girl as the great Whoopi Jemima. Shout out to Chris Avalon for that one. You in danger, girl. Now other people who are in danger.
Please stop talking right now.
Yes, Katie, Kevin, Ellen, all of y'all. Gayate. So roll these clips in tangent over here. With our greatest attorney general of all attorney generals, the first black female attorney general that we voted for here in New York State. People who vote, okay? Snoopy and the rest of you fucking goons. Tish James is bringing down the hammer on one of the biggest monopolies and political monopolies and just the most diabolical
racket. The NRA is a racket.
Yes, the most diabolical organization to exist.
Just like the Trump Foundation was a racket.
Yeah, aside from that, Kanye, all of they all like this. But this thing, NRA has been around for hundreds of years. So this is a big blow.
So hold on. Let me set the clips out for you. The first one is Fox News bugging the fuck out over it. How they handled her going after the NRA. They skipped over the crimes that the NRA did, and they made it seem though that Tish James didn't even possibly could do this on her own. She's too black for that.
So we might have a new administration soon. It won't be run by Joe Biden if he wins. Obviously, it'll be controlled by the same people who went after conservative groups under Barack Obama. They will be in charge.
This
So
Swanson.
what they do once they are. Well, we have a preview tonight, thanks to the Attorney General of New York, Tish James. The NRA, James has decided, must be destroyed immediately.
Just a few minutes ago, my office filed a lawsuit against the National Rifle Association to dissolve the organization in its entirety.
Boom.
It's hard to overstate how third world this lawsuit is.
Third world.
Alleging that the National Rifle Association must be destroyed because it's getting too involved in politics, which of course...
So he said it's because it's getting too involved in politics.
She's also upset about what she calls self-dealing. Not clear exactly.
She doesn't. So wait, he didn't know what self-dealings is.
In 2019, she promised to bring down the president. Show me the man, and I'll find you
They
the
will make it seem like it's a liberal left thing.
Thank you.
That works with people who are political hate.
Thanks to a separate lawsuit the NRA filed against her. The NRA says that her predecessor, a top Democrat by the name of Eric Schneiderman, remember him? He had to leave because of personal problems. He admitted that he was pressured by, quote, powerful
tax fraud, tax evasion.
Lawsuit against the NRA. Why? Because Democrats blamed the NRA for Trump's win 4 years ago.
Did they?
They did help get Donald Trump elected. The NRA has for decades been the single most effective get out the vote late campaign.
They lie, they admit the truth. Go ahead.
They were planning apparently to spend up to $70 million helping Republicans. Now they won't. Why?
So can I just say that he just admitted that
they
did win and that they were going to spend $20 million more dollars. They spent $54 million in 2016. They were going to spend $76 million this year to get him elected. Now that's $76 million in 3 months, 80 days. 3 months, less than 3 months. They're going to spend $76 million. So let me explain to you that it doesn't take $76 million to beat anybody, right? So what are they really doing with the money? This is what exactly Tish James said that he actually did.
Their families, favored board members, employees, and vendors to benefit through reimbursed expenses, related party transactions, excess compensation, side deals, and waste of charitable assets without regard to the NRA's best interest. The central figure behind this scheme was none other than Mr. Wayne LaPierre, the national face of the NRA, who was entrusted with running its day-to-day operations.
Oh, daddy.
Mr. LaPierre exploited the organization for his and his family's financial benefit. The benefit of a close circle of NRA staff, board members, and vendors. Specifically, Mr. LaPierre spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of the NRA's charitable assets for personal private plane trips, for his family, including extended family. He visited the Bahamas by private air charter at least 8 times. Approximate 3-year period with his family at a cost of more than $500,000
of our money. Oh, Lord.
He traveled on multiple luxury hunting safaris.
Just went to go kill. That's it.
The expense of an NRA vendor. He spent millions of dollars on unwanted travel consultants for decades, including for the booking of luxury black car service. In the past 2 years alone, Mr. LaPierre spent more than $3.6 million on these travel agent services. He secured a contract for himself with the NRA without board approval.
Why did he? They didn't have a real board.
$17 million.
Mm.
He allotted several $1 million annually in NRA funds for private security costs for himself.
He's doing everything. Mind you, guys, NRA is the reason why this is also damaging, because NRA is licensed under as a non-for-profit, a 501c3, and I, for one, I launched a non-for-profit years ago, and it is so hard to get that 501c3. So once you get that, you are literally regulated, through those legalities and within the regulations of the 501c3. And that's why this is really like a serious thing. So you're a not-for-profit who is stealing, just like the Trump Foundation, stealing money and using that money to take your family on 8 trips to the Bahamas. Ain't no more, Jenny. Ain't no more.
Yeah, I just found it interesting that that was the personal dealings that Mr. Swanson, Tucker Carlson, was saying that he didn't understand. He didn't know what that meant. So I thought it was important that we hear exactly what he was being charged with in this lawsuit. And also remember, they wanted to remember Trump said that why doesn't he just move it to another state? Well, Rachel, of course, had the answer to that.
You may have seen the President Trump, today responded to the news of this action by Attorney General Tish James by saying that the NRA should dissolve itself. That it should disestablish itself in New York and move out of New York, move out of Tish James's jurisdiction. The president said today publicly that the NRA should reconstitute itself somewhere else, like Texas instead. We're going to talk this hour about why the NRA actually doesn't have that option. And the president darn well knows it, because his own bogus charity, the Trump Foundation, was itself shut down by the New York Attorney General's office not that long ago because of a whole different slew of brazen illegality and alleged self-dealing. If the president could have evaded that fate by just picking up and moving his fake charity out of New York and moving it to Texas, he would have done so to save his own skin. It was not an option for him when his bogus scam charity got shut down by the New York Attorney General, and it is also today not an option for the NRA, no matter what the president says. So we're going to...
Sounds a lot like you're going down big time.
Yeah, birds of a feather flock together.
It's about time. I mean, hashtag dissolve the NRA. I mean, this is where we are, and I support Letitia James. I mean, Tish James. She is a leader. She is a fighter. And I am here for it.
I've been following her since she was here in Brooklyn. And remember, we used to march with her. She used to march with us all the time.
And now it's time for her to come out to
marriage equality.
Other corrupted people in let's just say in pop.
No, she took down Roger Ailes. I mean, she's the one who totally disbanded the Roger Ailes situation. That and got
a lot of wins
Bill O'Reilly fired from his job because of the raping and stuff.
So she's very effective. She got Trump Foundation closed and shut down. They can no longer serve on a charity board in New York State or anywhere, I believe, for the next couple of decades. So it's she's not playing. And NRA has been using that 501c3 cover, just like the church has been using that tax exempt for a long time. So we're coming for corruption, whether it be the churches, police departments, no matter what. We're coming for you guys. Call it progressive. Call it socialism. I call it progressive. So speaking of being progressive, let's talk about one of the most progressive weekly talk shows on the planet. That is Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And I think it's very important because I've been saying this to you, and finally it looks like you got these clips. I've been saying that we need these people to hear these clips because they need to know about the Confederacy. And you can take it from here.
Well, I could tell you the first one is about the Constitution, and he proves that the John Oliver makes the case that the Constitution was inheritedly racist.
Watch Laura Ingraham take one school board's discussion of an anti-racist curriculum and spin it out into a dystopian vision designed to terrify her viewers.
Now, every subject, every extracurricular activity will be perverted to turn your kids into mini Elon Omars. They're going to learn that capitalism is racist, history as conventionally taught is racist, literature, most of that's racist, patriotic songs, racist, and the Declaration and the Constitution, of course, they're racist. Are you sensing a theme here?
Now, Laura Ingraham might not seem like someone capable of following anything apart from black teenagers simply trying to shop at CVS, but I think she actually has picked up on a thing there, because seeing as she brought up the Constitution, let's talk about it. That document is a lot of things. Genuinely revolutionary and the foundation of an improbably long-lived democracy, but it's also infused with and inextricably linked to slavery and a legacy of racial inequality. From the 3/5 clause through the fugitive slave clause, the Constitution both codified slavery and made it harder for individuals to escape it. And the fact the Constitution is infused with racism does not mean it's cancelled. It's not a YouTuber who's just now realizing it was wrong to do blackface for 14 years. And it definitely doesn't mean that kids shouldn't learn about it, but they should be taught to see it as an imperfect document with imperfect authors who both extolled the ideals of freedom for all while at the same time codifying slavery. And that is possible to do. Kids can understand that things can be racist and also other things. The Constitution can be revolutionary and also racist. Movies can be romantic and also racist. Children's books can be charming and also racist. Broadcasters can be incredibly successful and also racist. And if kids are taught an incomplete history, they'll either never get the full story, or when they do, they don't have the framework to understand how the pieces fit together.
So the thing is here is that, again, if we taught our children the proper textured history that we have, where we don't just jump from freeing slaves to Martin Luther King, and then we jump to, Reagan and Bush. I just feel like we jump in history so much that, I always wanted to know, why are we being taught this history? Like, why weren't we taught about the 1992 Oklahoma riots? Why weren't we told about all these things that happened, or like 1619, about the systemic racism, how it started, how it developed, Jim Crow, how that changed from, we went from, slavery to Jim Crow. Why, the reason why Kanye is so damn dangerous is because he takes the fact that we are ignorant of our own history, and so he can manipulate the propaganda that's been indoctrinated in our history books. Now, the reason why I want to bring these two clips is basically to tell you that this is something that started back in the Civil War, where
about the Tulsa riots, right? You said.
Yeah, I was talking about the Tulsa riots. But this is about the Civil War. After the Civil War happened, of course, the South, the Confederates surrendered, said, okay, we're going to lose this. And so we're just going to play good and play nice. No, they didn't play good. They didn't play nice. They started something called the Lost Cause. And I'll let the rest be explanatory on its own.
Listen to how this textbook describes slavery.
The master often had a barbecue or a picnic for his slaves. Then they had a great frolic. Even while working in the cotton fields, they sang songs. The beat of the music and the richness of their voices made work seem light.
Yikes. That's from History of Georgia, a textbook published in 1954 that was taught across junior high schools in Georgia for decades. That sort of language is part of an intellectual movement called the Lost Cause, a distorted version of American Civil War history that's been prevalent in the South for a long time. It took shape soon after the defeat of the Confederate States in the war, when Southern historians like Edward Pollard and former Confederate General Jubal Early started preserving the South's perspective through their writings. They framed the Confederate cause in defense of the Southern way of life against the overwhelming forces in the North. That narrative has a few basic tenets: the glorification of Confederate soldiers who died for a cause they believed in, the belief that slavery was a benevolent institution,
that slaves were happy,
that slavery was not the root cause of the war.
I'm not a racist.
Most notoriously effective efforts to rewrite history, and it was done by the losing side. So how did it become so
Thank you, but they
rooted?
write history.
Blame the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The UDC was founded in Nashville in 1894 to preserve Confederate culture for generations to come. The women who made up the group descended from elite antebellum families, and they used their social and political clout to spread the pro-Southern version of the war as real history. You've probably seen their efforts to honor the Confederacy, but maybe you didn't know it was the UDC. They're the ones who covered the Southern landscape with memorials for Confederate leaders and soldiers. They used their fundraising and lobbying skills to pressure local governments into erecting monuments in prominent public spaces like courthouses and state capitals. They put them along roadsides and in parks. Any place that was remotely relevant to the Confederacy was memorialized. By the early 20th century, the UDC had 100,000 members in chapters spread all over the country, but mostly in former Confederate states. And there's a reason they grew so quickly during that time. Most of the Confederate monuments were erected during the UDC's height of influence.
There's a rhetoric around monuments that we want to get this thing built before all of that generation has died off. And the reason we want it is to teach future generations about those men.
Dr. Karen Cox wrote the book on the UDC, and I asked her if it was fair to say the group established the lost cause as historical fact in the South.
Oh my God, yeah. They were the leaders of the lost cause into the 20th century, and they made it a movement about vindication. Monuments are the least of what they did.
What?
I mean, they were the most visible and tangible, but the work with children was far more influential.
It turns out a central UDC objective is shaping how children think about the war and their Southern heritage. One of their most powerful tools, textbooks.
So I just want to interrupt just 1 second. See how it started with the Confederate daughters, the mothers and teachers. Then it went to the kids.
But their work with children went further than the classrooms. The UDC formed an auxiliary group called the Children of the Confederacy, which was designed to get kids born in former Confederate states to actively participate in their version of history. Group leaders had kids recite call and response truths from something called the Confederate Catechism. Children up to the age of 18 would compete and be rewarded for memorizing long passages of lost cause rhetoric.
So it would be like an after-school thing, like that was your club. You would go after school to the meeting of the Children of the Confederacy, and your leader might teach you songs of the South like Dixie or other songs that were considered Southern patriotic songs. They would have them write essays, go visit the veterans, and learn this catechism.
Children were also the centerpiece of their community's monument unveiling children. The UDC's efforts shaped the identities of children who grew up with the lost cause. They made history personal, and that made their story last longer.
Generations of children learning that narrative in a variety of ways grow up to be, segregationists in the 50s and 60s, because that's been drilled into them since they were children.
After World War I, the UDC started losing steam, but the damage was done. The monuments were in place, and the textbooks they wrote remained in Southern classrooms until the late 70s. And the women's group did it all without the right to vote or participate in politics.
You can still get glimmers of this lost cause memory of the war from people who will always choose to see it through the personal. And I think the UDC, to a great extent, was their goal.
So the next time someone says the Confederate monuments are about remembering our history, just know that that's exactly what the United Daughters of the Confederacy wants you to think.
What a fucking just whirlwind of fuckery. Like, it's just it just, to me, it sounded like a concentration camp. I know they weren't held, I guess they will, but child, they
it was definitely indoctrinated into them. And so when we look at Joe Biden, and when Joe Biden says things like,
agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Thank you.
And saying stuff like there's no, there's never been a racist president before, or, the things he used to say even back in the days when he created the crime bill, and some of the language that was misconstrued or used to. So that's where that all comes from. I mean, so you got to remember, Joe Biden was one of these, he's from Pennsylvania, I mean, it's a little bit from the north, but at the end of the day, we were all indoctrinated with this type of, Confederate Confederacy ideologue. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
Dukes of Hazzard was one of the essential ones. I mean, that was when it turned to pop culture. When you look at Gone with the Wind, when you look at the idea that I remember the Civil War, me having Civil War hats and stuff, and thinking that was cute when I was a kid, and I had no clue. I had no clue. My mother had no clue. My father had no clue. No one had any clue. You know, we were over here propping up the Confederacy. We were up here celebrating.
That's how propaganda works.
Yeah.
That's how propaganda works. That's what people are going to sit here and say years later when they get into this whole people, documentaries and historians talk about the Trump administration. I was wearing hats and da-da-da. And speaking of that, guys, I have something to that nature. But with Joe Biden, I just want to say, let's hope that in the next couple of days he announced this VP. We both want Kamala Harris, so let's just leave it there. Period. Joe, we're waiting. Again, guys, if you agree, go to 30330. I found out what the code was. Let's get in this fight together. And yeah. What?
Even right now.
Really? Oh, come on. I didn't say what Kanye said. I mean, hello. But yeah. So what I want to get to as we wrap up this show, our season finale here, we're going to end the show with two special clips from the Obamas. So I want to get these other clips out of the way. Now, there is a scientist by the name of Noam Chomsky. And keep in mind, guys, he is 92 years old. But we share the same fucking birthday. Shout out to all the Sagittarius. December 7th, 1928, this man was born. He is an American linguist, philosopher, cognitive scientist, historian, social critic, and political activist, otherwise known as a dissident, which is why this episode name is Dissident. Sorry. And dissident basically means anyone who, Cardi, take that pick up that spit off the floor. Dissident is anyone who stands up against authoritarianism, people who are doing wrong to humanity. And I guys, you have to follow this organization and support independent journalism. This organization called Democracy Now! Follow them on Facebook, social media. Follow them on their website. Support independent journalism. They have an amazing channel. Thankfully, the Sling, we have the channel Democracy Now! He was on the show. They do episodes every day, like a news channel every hour for an hour. Noam Chomsky is always on there. Follow him too. Noam Chomsky on Twitter. He's always putting out these philosophical, like, just sentences and things that keeps us going. Talk a lot about political, social political, socioeconomic. It's really great. But in this clip right here, he's talking about why President Donald Trump, the 45th president of these United States, not only is he a threat, but he is the most dangerous human in our history. Listen to this clip.
At every level, we are racing madly towards total catastrophe under the leadership of sociopathic fanatics. It's as if some evil demon decided to take over the human species and drive them to self-destruction. And much of the world is trying to counter it, almost all the world. But the United States and Brazil are the extreme cases of racing with dedication towards disaster. Going back to this election, that's the reason why it's the most dangerous, the most significant election in history. Why Trump is, in fact, this may sound outrageous, but it's true. Trump is the most dangerous figure in human history. The Republican Party today is the most dangerous organization in human history. You can compare Trump to, say, Hitler. The Wannsee Declaration in 1942 called for killing all the Jews, tens of millions of Slavs, not destroying organized human society. There has been nothing like this. Nothing.
Guys, like, I mean, the man is 92, so he speaks very softly, but the words out of his mouth, when I saw that, I watched it live. When I saw that live, I went on Twitter and I had to find that clip. Like, that man is brilliant. And when I did my research, I was like, oh my God, this is why I felt it. Like he said, you guys listen to the show, you know that's me. Every day, all day, babe, you know that's what I say. The most dangerous man in human history. And the GOP is the most dangerous organization to our society. So if you're going to vote for these people, you're allowing the death of America. Period. Now, speaking of people who are against authoritarianism, apparently the Republicans have waken up. Shout out to Republicans against Trump. Listen to this explosive ad of people who are officially now voting for Democrats who never did, ever.
My name is Dan Kiesbolt. I'm a U.S. veteran, served in the Navy.
I was an active duty Navy SEAL.
Submarine officer.
Air Force
Marine. I was raised as a Republican.
I've been a lifelong Republican.
Lifelong Republican. At least I was until Donald Trump came into the picture. He does not care about you. He does not care about this country. That Trump doesn't care about the Constitution. He only cares about himself.
Soldiers expect their leaders to be able to do what they do, be willing to take that risk.
When it came time for him to serve in the Vietnam War, he got 5 deferments.
Coward. We're looking at a lying draft dodger who berates those who serve our country honorably, rewards those who do not, lets them get off scot-free. People that lie to Congress. I mean, what the hell?
My friends are still out there, and they're being targeted by the Russian Federation with paid bounties.
For these reasons, I'm supporting Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
I would not consider myself liberal, but Biden is the only choice.
Country above party.
Joe Biden. Biden. 2020. Go America.
Yes, that was Republicans against Trump. If anyone wants to know where you can get that information, that was explosive ad, just like the Lincoln Project. We got Republicans for the Rule of Law. There's a couple of conservatives that are really trying, well, a bunch of them that are really trying to bring back the true meaning of conservatism. But as Noam Chomsky said, and as I always say, they are a threat to our society. So the GOP is DOA, dead on arrival. We need a third party. So this is the hashtag New America that we're getting into. Speaking of New America, we got 2 of the most amazing people in the world coming together for a podcast. Michelle Obama's doing a podcast on Spotify. We are tuned in, and apparently she is going through a little depression. But also, the Obamas talk about the youth. So I want to start with the youth clip and end with the Michelle Obama with the depression. I think we all can take a little bit of that and really, connect with that. But this is what they say about the youth, basically, that the government has not been a good marketing. We have not marketed the government to the point where people know what the government do for them, and it makes perfect sense. And I know you and I agreed. So this is our season finale, guys. We will be back in a little over a month for third season. Chris Avalon will be doing his finale too, so make sure those that follow him, you can check him out on Facebook. I'm sure he's going live. And we'll thank you all for listening. We'll be back in a month. Let's end out with this, and DJ will be tonight for the weekly top 40. And more DTA podcasts coming your way. We're wrapping up this month with the season finale, so follow us at DTA Podcast. See you.
Hey, Michelle. Girl. You look so
just
good.
How they were raised, the values, their exposure, the questions that they have, the change in the economy that's forcing them to ask a certain set of questions. That gives me hope. But the thing that I worry is that I think too many young people who question whether voting, whether politics is worth it.
Well, partly because they have been told, the message is sent every day that government doesn't work. They take for granted all the things that a working government has done in the past.
Yeah.
And in some ways, we're still living on the investment that was made by that greatest generation.
I always joke that, and I said this about, one of the challenges of being president is like, you don't have a marketing budget, There's really no structure to market government, right? I mean, the average young person knows far more about the cereal they're eating and the car they're driving than they do about what government actually does for them because they don't have a marketing budget. There isn't a jingle,
The only time they know about what government's doing is
when it doesn't work. Right.
So we're getting a good lesson in that right now.
Exactly. If people are paying attention and they understand what's missing.
Right.
Not having a public health system that takes care of people whether you're working or not, that takes care of you whether you have pre-existing conditions or not. Unemployment, Social Security, all of the things that sort of keep people going when the chosen path doesn't work.
And I think you're absolutely right that the danger for this generation is that they become too deeply cynical in government, not understanding that all government is us collectively making decisions together.
They are not fulfilling time spiritually, so I know that I am dealing with some form of low-grade depression, not just because of the quarantine, but because of the racial strife and just seeing this administration, watching the hypocrisy of it day in and day out is